yourselves, you can be equal huko nje. But when it comes to the institution of marriage, mambo ya equalness inaishi hapo nje kwa mlango. You cannot be equal in a marriage. There's not a day in this world that the woman and the man will be on the same level in a marriage. You must remain under your husband if you want to keep that marriage going, and if you want that marriage to also glorify God. Remember, social innovativeness on family care solutions and children upbringing, mental health awareness remedies is a start to a healthy society.
A woman is a real architect of the society. So stand up, speak up, and show up for change.
Hello people, my name is Miriam Ndulo and this is Sister Talk. Watu wenye hawaja subscribe, sijui mko wapi, keep on subscribing, call your friends, call your sisters, call your aunties, waambie wa subscribe wote. And if you've subscribed, hit the notification bell so that every time I put up a video, unakuwa notified. Unajua ni nini ndo nataka kukuambia, okay? Today, I'm going to talk about something that's a bit inakwaga ish because when you hear about submission, it's kuna watu wanakwaga wameichukua ni kukaliwa, you know, ananiambia nini, we are the same level. And just the other day I was speaking to my daughter who is in Form 4 and she told me they were told in school that times have changed and walikuwa wanafunzwa subject and we were talking about traditions, traditional stuff and nowadays, and wakaambiwa in marriage za kitambo zilikuwa watu walikuwa wanakaliwa, watu walikuwa wanaambiwa sana, walikuwa wanasumbuliwa. But marriage za kileo, people are equal, the husband and the wife are both working, sijui what. And I begged to differ with that information because those are the things that we are putting out to our children that are making our children think that it's okay to be, you know, at the same level with your husband. You know, uko nje senye mnaenda kufanya job, senye mnaenda kutafuta job, senye mnaenda create something for yourselves. You can be equal uko nje. But when it comes to the institution of marriage, mambo ya equalness inaishi hapo nje kwa mlango. You cannot be equal in a marriage. There's not a day in this world that the woman and the man will be on the same level in a marriage. You must remain under your husband if you want to keep that marriage going and if you want that marriage to also glorify God. Remember, the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor. This favor, you can only unlock it if you're submitting to your husband. If you're not living like you're supposed to live, then this favor inaweza kuwa ngumu sana kuipata, because the Lord has compared a marriage with his kingdom. He says that marriage ni kama the church and the husband is the Lord and the wife is the church. So siku gani ndo kutakuwa Lord na church wako kwa the same level? There's not a day. Not here on earth, not in the life to come. You will always be under your husband. Now you need to know, what are you being under to? Marriages don't end badly, just for the record. Marriages start badly. If you know you want to submit, you need to choose the person you want to submit to. Auendi kusubmit to anybody. The Bible does not say go submit to anybody. He says submit to your husband alone. You're not submitting to Amboga. You're not submitting to your boss. You're not submitting to any other person. The only person the Bible has given you mandate and has given you a role to submit to is your husband. And this husband, you are the one to choose the husband to submit to. So shida yetu kubwa ni ati we are choosing people we can't submit to. And then when you told to submit, uko like, hata stakaliwa mimi sitaambiwa. Miss Deona demo nyako ako in love, anapenda chali yake. Dem baka anataka afue nguo before hata olewe. You want to start washing clothes before you even a wife. But when you become a wife, you're like, hizo kazi mimi sifanyagi, niko na kucha, sijui siwezi pika, sijui siwezi. Girl, you need to calm down. You decide to get married, you decide to submit. You decide who you will submit to. So that's the Bible for you. So kama unataka kuolewa, before uolewe, jua tu utasubmit. So kama unajua huwezi submit, uchorea kuolewa. Na by the Bible hajasema kuolewa ni mbaya. You can stay without being married. It's okay. As long as you live within the the word, unaweza tu kabla kuolewa. It's fine. Don't force yourself to get married, and you know very well that you're not ready, and you don't want to submit, and you don't want you to cook. Ati sijui sasa siku hizi ati mimi ati tukiingia kwa nyumba yeye apike na mimi nipike. Boss, it can't work like that. He is the king, remember. Unaambia king aoshe vyombo. He wants to wash vyombo by himself, by his own will. That's good. We can take that. But si ati anataka ati sasa imekuwa ni a real chore in the house that he does the dishes, you do the food, he does no, honey, this is where we're getting it all wrong. Let's go back to the roots. Let's go back to how our parents did these things. When you are the wife, you take care of the house, you take care of the children, you take care of what they will eat. Proverbs 31 woman, do that. Wake up early in the morning, wake up before everybody. Clean your home, fagia nje ya nyumba yako. Those are the things that used to happen back in the day. Let's bring them back. Tuache kufanya life ikuwe ni hard. Mnafanya hata watu wajolewa wanasema, "He, kama hiyo ndio kuolewa mistaki." It's not that hard. Let me tell you something else about submission. You're not submitting na roho mbaya. You're not submitting because you have to. Au submit ni kama vile ati umeandikwa job ati mdosi amesema hii kazi nataka ifanywe by 6. So nyinyi wote mkae chini mfanye by 6. So you'll do it by 6 because you have to, because you're being paid. No. When you're submitting to your husband, you do it out of love. Ni vile tu mtoto wako mdogo anataka kufuliwa nguo, anataka kupikiwa. Ushaona mama mwenye mtoto wake anataka kukula, anaanza kupika na mom feelings ati kwa nini unakuwa unapika kila siku? No. You cook for your child out of love. Unaona mtoto anasikia njoo kule, acha nikupikie tu sasa, ngoja kidogo, unaingia unakoroga haraka unampatia. That is done out of love. The same case applies to submission. You need to be like that. You need to do it out of love. Ukiambiwa nisaidie kikombe cha maji, tena ikui kesi utanituma kila siku, sijui wewe pia unaweza enda kujichukulia. No. Do it out of love. Do it with a willing heart. Okay? So the first problem we have with submission is when we are dating. Pale before hata tuanze kuoana. That is where submission is. That is where it starts. If you're willing to go through the entire process, it should start from then. If you can submit to that man, look at him, see the things he's doing. Are you ready to submit to that? Are you ready? If your man today tells you, unacha job, tunaenda kuishi Mombasa. Guess what? If you're submitting, you're going without questioning. Now, you need to know, sometimes not everything that your man tells you is right. And so there's submitting bright and there's submitting ya ujinga. Kuna submitting nitawaletea shida kwa nyumba. So you need to find out, what are you submitting to? And if he, of course, utafanya venye anasema, but it's okay to give your opinion about it. It's okay to tell him, hapa, I'm not sure. Sioni ni kama ina work. Sioni ni kama tutaendelea hapa vizuri if you go through this direction. But if your husband ni anataka kukuonesha yeye ndiye anajua na hataki kuambiwa, which wanaume wa siku hizi wengi wako hivyo, then you need to let him be, because he is the man. At the end of the day, after everything is done, he holds the last key. He holds the last word. He's the one who will say, okay, sawa nimekusikia lakini tutafanya hivi. Guess what? Mtafanya hivyo. Because that is what we call submission. You decide to submit to your husband, you submit. There's nothing like feminism in marriage. Kwa marriage kuna mwanaume na kuna mwanamke, na mwanaume ako juu ya mwanamke na ndo basi. There's nothing that is sijui what. But also, as you submit, you should know that submission is a full and content human being, a whole CEO, a whole, a director, sijui what, a whole woman who is filled and okay and comfortable with her space, who lives that and decides to become submissive to a man. Ukishatoka job, ukishamaliza kukuwa CEO, ukiingia hivi kwa nyumba, you leave everything there hapo nje. Then you come in as the wife now. Now you are submitting. Ile bossy una boss watu kwa office, you cannot do that in your house. You cannot start bossing around your husband. Otherwise you're brewing trouble. So you need to be whole, you need to be content with submitting. Na si kusubmit na kesi. Okay, you need to stop shouting at your man. Mademu wa siku hizi, hiyo tena ni shida nyingine tuko nayo. we want to shout at our men. Unaambiwa kitu unamrushia maneno. Remember, this man is the king of the home. And the Bible says a good wife is a crown on their husband's head. The Bible inasema, if you are a good wife, a calm wife is a crown on your husband's head. So be that crown. Hii kuleta vita kwa nyumba, vurugu saa yote, kesi hazishagi juu chini, kila siku kesi. Leave them. Do not belittle your husband in public or in private. Make sure he feels and he is treated as the king he is at all times. Hii biashara ya ati kwa nyumba kuko na vyombo za wageni na kuko na vyombo za zenyu, sasa nyinyi watu wa kwa nyumba, your husband unampakulia kwa plastic just like the rest of the people. Remember, he is the king. Let him be the king. If he needs to be put on food, kama mgeni, kama king, you know. Kwa Madaraka Day juzi niliona vile president wetu alikuwa anasifiwa, kila mtu ako tu president, umefanya, you're nice, you're good. That is the same spirit you need to work with your husband. Tell your husband nice things. Tell him he's, you know, mpatie sifa kede, sifa nzuri, you know, mimine na sifa, asikie poa, asikie ya huku naye anapendwa. Make your home a warm home, make your home a good environment where he can come home. Sasa zingine machali yako kwa parking 24 hours. Why? Nyumbani ya kukaliki ni moto. And the Bible says a man would rather sleep kwa roof mali anachapwa na baridi than alale kwa nyumba mali kuko na a quarrelsome woman. Do not be a quarrelsome woman. Submit to your husband. The other thing you need to do, you need to submit. Make sure your husband can submit to you too as you're choosing. Remember, submission starts before you get married. The Bible says submit to one another, meaning he also needs to submit to you to some extent. Lakini si yo yenyewe una submit nayo, but he needs to be able to listen to you. He needs to be able to hear you. Ukisema niliona biashara fulani situjaribu, he needs to be able to listen to that. Ukimwambia hiyo route yenye umechukua sioni kikapo, he needs to be able to listen to that. That is submitting to one another. Make sure you're marrying someone you can submit to one another. Someone who can respect you. Okay? So ukienda kusubmit huu mtu, make sure ni mtu akona hizi qualities zote, so itakuwa ngumu kwako kusubmit. It becomes hard to submit when you get married to a man who is careless. Anataka akuje ile saa anataka, ataki kuambiwa, ataki. It's hard to submit to that. But guess what? If you found yourself in that, since wewe ulichagua, you will submit to it. But if you've not married yet and you want to marry, now choose wisely. Choose someone you can submit to, because the Bible says you are the one who is going to choose who you will submit to. So choose wisely. Submission is not slavery, okay? Submission ni kwa roho yako, yani unajitolea out of love. Honoring his desires. Anataka kukua pilot, anataka kusoma usiku, wewe uko hapo, nizimie taa, I want to sleep. Submitting means helping him achieve his dreams. And if he's submitting to you, he's also supposed to help you achieve your dreams, okay? So submit to that. Cheza chini. In front of his friends, cheza chini. Usikuwe wende ndani wakutoka kwa nyumba huko, nilikwambia. No. Make your husband look like a king outside and in the house. Mkiwa huko nje, wacha watu wajue unakuwa umenyenyekea, uko chini yake. Auko juu yake, umongeleshi sijui aje mbele ya watu. Tame your tongue, women, tame your tongues. Hakuna kitu inakuwa imelemea madem kama ulimi. When you, especially when umejam, when you're not, you know, you feel like you've not been treated like you would have wanted to be treated. There's a way to go about it wisely. Don't be that woman who shouts, you know, anaongea mbaya, anamtukana mbele ya watu, una bring out shida za from 1900 into this, you know, scenario that has nothing to do with that. Then unafanya inakuwa a whole scenario. Don't do that. Tame your tongue. The first thing to being submissive is taming your tongue. Tongue zetu ndoga zinatuangusha. Hizo ndio zofanya tunakuwa sisi si wa submissive. So tame your tongue. So submission is also honoring your husband's decisions. Amesema leo watoto wasitoke nje. Wewe juu unasikia unajua sana, wewe umeacha watoto wakatoka nje. You cannot have different opinions in the house. You cannot have two voices in the house. There has to be one voice that speaks over every voice, and that's your husband's. The same case applies with God. And you're the voice that speaks over every voice on earth. Okay, so nothing can be said above what he has said. The same case applies to your husband. Mkikuwa na anything in the house you have planned, make sure you are speaking the same language in front of your children. Akisema hivi, unaambia watoto baba yenu alisema hivi, so hivyo ndo kutaenda. Asimama baba yako alisema. Kama ingekuwa si baba yako amesema labda tungesikia, lakini juu baba yako alisema, echo his things, echo what he says. Let the children know that this man ndo kusema huku. Okay? Don't let the children despise his decisions by you not taking them seriously. Okay? So have a united front to make your husband look like the king that he is. Respect his wishes. And if you want the children to respect him, you also need to respect him. Si ati yeye ametoka umechokiongea mbaya kuhusu baba yao na wanasikia. You know, that is part of submission. You need to make sure your husband is honored by your children. Si ati ametoka sasa wewe umejaa mjuu mmekosana usiku, sasa the whole world will know. Ploti mzima everybody will know that mlikosana usiku. It does not have to be like that. In fact, it should not be like that. Make sure you honor your husband in his presence and when he is not there, so that everybody else can also respect him. Respect him even in your family. Watu wenu kienda kuambia kitu about your husband, don't go telling bad things about your husband. Guess what? Unaenda kuchoma huko, unaenda kumchomea. Kesho ukienda kusema ati yeye ni mzuri, unafikiri unataka kusikia. Kesho mkikuwa na family gathering, unafikiri watu watakuwa wanakutana wakiambiana nini? What you yourself got out of your house. Keep your domains and your issues in your house. Make sure whatever that comes out of your house is a positive thing about your husband. Useme kitu mbaya about your husband kwa watu wenu. Make sure you that picture of him being the hero of the day, the hero of your life, let that picture remain in every square of your life. Even kwa mabeste zako, ile ati watu wanakosananga unaenda kwa mabeste zako kulia alinifanya, akanifanya. There's a limit to that. And you don't tell everybody what is happening in your life, Have maybe a friend, one friend who you can tell, but also don't tell everything. Unachomea hazi yako na si poa. Cheza chini. Tell only what needs to be told, and you don't have to tell everything at the end of the day. No one can help your marriage apart from the two of you and God. Nyinyi tu ndo mlikuwa ikianza. So if you go telling everybody about what is happening in your house, unaenda ukifungua nyumba yako, unatoa nyumba yako nje. And guess nani atapata hiyo aibu? Bado tu ni wewe. Unajua? So don't do that, okay? Do not think that you're always right. Submission. Women think they are always right. Iwezi mchange. It's either your way or the highway. You can't have that in a marriage. In a marriage, it's either his way or the highway, not yours. You need to be able to sit down and talk and figure things out. Look at it from his perspective. Unajua, isikue tena ni kesi ati kwa sababu ijafanywa venye wewe unataka ifanywe. Remember, you're not the head. So wacha kukam sana. Come pole pole. Keep it low. Give him the respect that he deserves, and you're going to have a better home. My name is Miriam Ndulu, and this is Sister Talk. Subscribe. Kisha subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I post a video, unapata notification. Thank you.